Hello everyone. I am back and I am so excited to share with you my little fall release. I know earlier I released the words ahead of time, my words and phrases set, which I've been using constantly. So that is part of this release, but I did it a few weeks ago because I just couldn't wait. I wanted to start sharing it right away. But the next part of the release are Autumn Impressions, which is going to be moths, some botanical pieces. We've got teasel, acorn, maple seeds, little trees, and then feathers. This is all birds, so I have some swallows and owls and a big feather, and I have been using these constantly, so I'll share what I've been making with those. And then I also wanted to have some more patterns as part of my collection because pattern is so important to me. And for years I've only been able to use other people's patterns, so I really wanted to add patterns that were my own to this collection. So I started with triangles because I just love triangles so much, and they're kind of like a small, medium, and large. So I have these small ones which are really fun for layering and adding doodles. I have this one that's just this cool geometric one. This one you're going to need to take some care because the way I wanted it to look means that some of these are looser, so you can't be really rough with this one. You kind of have to pat it if you're using acrylic paint, or brushes would be good with this, sprays, watercolors, that kind of thing. But you don't want to go really, really hard with like a dauber. And this one too is super cool. This is a little bit of a larger print. And this works well too, but again, it has these big open spaces. So if you're going to be using a dauber tool, I would flip it this way so you're kind of going along with these bridges here so that you don't kind of damage your stencil. This is, again, these triangles are pointy, so you just have to be careful when you're using them. They're sharp. So let me show you what I've been making. I just have been having so much fun. So a while back, I've been in love with this color story, so I've just kind of been using it for everything in this release. And Tim Holtz has this new couple of different stencils or die cuts where you can do like little teeny tiny tags and little labels, although I turned them into tags. So I wanted to make this little tiny book with the colors that I've been in love with, but then I decided to add the new release on here. And it's super fun how all the pieces of the collection kind of works with previous stuff. So I have acorns on here and maple seed pods. I have some like abstract teasel flowers. Just so much fun. I just love this so much. It's like a little nature study book. So this is with the Autumn Impressions set. So a lot of these are all the little pieces in there, except the hands. That's from another set. And then this book, which I just kind of showed today, September 1st, on my Instagram. This is kind of the whole collection in one place. So I have the moths in here. I use some of the triangle stencils on her gown. Here are some of the birds and the phrases. I'm getting there. Pause, soul, allow. Some of the trees. And again, with this collection, I'm making everything with giant wide spaces like so that you can go in and add your doodles or turn it into your own with your own kind of mark making and designing. So that's why everything has big open spaces, because then I like to go back in and add more to it. Still adding more in here. Her dress is the one of the triangle stencils. So I made a bunch of collage paper ahead of time, and I used the pattern stencils for that. More moths, and you know, I add some of my houses from my house set. Different moths here. I'm loving these feathers. I think they're my favorite thing from the whole collection. I just keep putting them on everything. And this is a branch from my Funky Forest set, which surprisingly, when I came out with the idea of this collection, I was like, wow, it's going to really go with some of my previous tree sets and things like that for the acorn and the owls and stuff. I can't wait to, I mean, it's nerdy, but I cannot wait to go all Halloween with this stuff. I've got so much, you don't even know. It's going to be crazy. So anyway, just super, super fun colors and patterns that I've been working on. So I've been kind of in love with this color pattern. So this palette, I should say. So I've just been using it on everything. It's lots of eggplant purples and ambers and rusty colors. But you can see how nicely the stencils allow for lots of doodling. So you can make everything look super, super different. And I'm loving putting writing on the bugs, on the moths. I just think that's so fun. This one, my daughter, my 16-year-old, doodled on, and I loved that. She wanted to do some, so I let her do some too. So, so fun, you guys. I'm loving all of these. This is the tree. More owls. I love this teasel. I remember years ago I moved to a property and I'd never seen teasel before. And although it's really spiky and thorny, it was so fun to put into like bouquets and things like that. Some more moths. I just love these. Open your heart. So, so fun. It's my favorite one, believe. I'm saving it for something special, I guess. And even the maple seed pods. I don't know what these are actually called. I should have looked it up before I had to refer to them constantly. We used to call them helicopter pods. More of that moth. And this is a fun one because I feel like this shape could be anything. So this could be a fun one to play with. I'm already like, oh, it could be the bustle to a skirt or something. I can't wait to play with more of that one. Here's some more acorns, little owls. So you can see I've really, really been having so much fun playing with all this stuff and doodling. Just so, so fun. So I also made a couple of paper dolls with some of the patterns from the stencils. So I didn't grab my paper. I'll go grab that. Hold on one sec. So I made a whole bunch of collage papers with the stencils just to kind of show you what you could do with them. So these are just with acrylic paints. This is the 2 triangles in here. This is the other triangle set and these. So fun. This is just the pure little triangles. Just mixing and matching them, so much fun. So I made some paper dolls. What I'll do is I'll have this stuff on hand and then I'll go ahead and make paper dolls and things. But really, what really speaks to me is how they look with watercolors. I just love how they look with watercolors. I just think it comes out so cool. So I probably should do a video on how I kind of achieve this little watercolor kind of paper, but they come out great that way too. But I love this one. This one became the paper for my latest writing journal. So I use that all on the cover. So just so cool. And I'll show you too, it works great with sprays. So I was just testing it out here, but these are with the Dina Wakley sprays, which I love. And it came out really nice that way too. I'm gonna try doing a video with it on a gel plate, but I had a 6x6 and then I cut up that 6x6 gel plate. So I just ordered one. I wanna have it on hand because these are 6x6 stencils. And I just thought, oh, it'll probably be good to do on one of those. But I'll show you, I'm trying to see. I've been using, here's some more of the stencils, some more of the paper and the birds. So they all work good in the writing journals too. Here's some more of the moths. I just love, love, love this stuff. It's just been so much fun. I get so excited. I'm so nerdy like that. Here is another one that I did in the Dina Wakley journal with another paper doll. This was on watercolor paper and I did a feather, and this is kind of the inspiration for this stencil. It's kind of how I doodle, so I wanted it on a stencil too. So much fun. And let's see. Also, I started a new calendar journal, like a new style that gives me a little bit more, it's still using all the calendar stencils and things like that, but I just needed more space for lists because life is just going to get super busy. I have 3 different kids. My 18-year-old's in college. I'm not ready. So I have 3 different kids in 3 different schools, and one school's 45 minutes away. So I got to write like all this stuff down, and everybody's just getting lots of stuff. So, but I use the stencils as a background in here with my calendar set. So I've got the triangles, I've got the really big triangles with the little triangles, and I use the fancy ones, the kind of doodly ones in here. So just really, really fun to have more stencils to use as patterns. Here I did it with the dilution sprays. So I did the ghosting technique, which came out good. And then I went over it with acrylic paint. So you can kind of see the texture there, layer on layer. And again, now that it's fall, I'm realizing that this tree from the documenting set, which is meant for writing, also lends itself to like a fall, you know, the skeleton of a tree. So it was like, oh, that works so well with the birds. And here's the other one from the Funky Forest set that works so well with the owls. So again and again, unintentionally, I find that this stuff all works so well together, especially like these kind of swallow birds. They work so well with this. It's kind of like that old school tattoo where you have the swallow and like a ribbon symbol. And the cool thing about stencils, unlike a stamp, a stencil can be flipped. So with a stamp, it's very difficult to get the same image in reverse unless you use tissue paper and matte medium and stuff like that. But with the stencil, you can put it down, stencil it, flip it over, put it down and stencil it. And you can constantly play with imagery, juxtaposing each other. And then with the banner, it's going to be so fun to use in like my writing journal or my calendar journal, or just in general, you know, and above a scene. So I have the documenting girl here with some of the words from the words and phrases set. And I just love how it turned out. So not only did I use the triangles for the cover, but when I went to make the papers, I made sure to incorporate the new stencil in here. So this is the triangle one. And I think I use fossils for the other page, but they just look so fun. I love, love, love this stencil. It reminds me too of like African batik fabrics and stuff, like mud cloth. I'm so obsessed with a lot of the African textiles. At one point I went through a phase, my entire house was African textiles and masks. So I kind of still never got over it. So I just love how this looks. And just setting up my writing journal ahead of time. So I'm using all the new stencils, and I'm just loving this color story. It's just, these are colors that I never ever got into, and then I started using some watercolors recently that had them, and now I'm in love. So anyway, so those are all the new things. You can see I put the feather on here in one of my words and phrases stencils. So I really have been going to town with all of this new collection. I just am so in love. I hope you guys like it too. And there's so much you can do with all of them. So making collage backgrounds and papers. And again, I'm going to be adding different videos, hopefully to my Instagram, but you know, here as well, and show you all the different fun ways to play with this stuff with watercolors and jelly plates and that kind of thing. So keep your eye on things, and I still have more fun stuff down the pipeline coming, which I cannot wait to share with you, that is not stencil related. So just make sure that you're subscribed here and to my newsletter so you don't miss all of the channels, so that when I announce things, you'll be the first in the know. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all the orders. Everybody's always so lovely, leaving like the sweetest comments when they order. So I really appreciate it all. Thank you so much.